But what we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. Y'all don't talk about that. Well, come on, man, that kid was a cakewalk.
Wrong. Canelo always has had a problem with boxers. He always struggles when he fights a boxer. Anybody knows that if you can box and take a punch, you're gonna give him a hard time. Bud is not one of these guys that's gonna quit.
Bud Crawford soundly defeating Canelo Alvarez. We thought that maybe he could have won by even a further margin on the scorecards. He gets it done unanimously. Teddy, can you put into words what we just saw from Terence Crawford?
Well, the only thing I wonder is if Crawford was born and made in a laboratory.
Floyd Mayweather's first words after Canelo Alvarez's stunning loss to Terence Crawford carried the weight of both vindication and admiration.
I say to him, I feel great to share the ring with great fighters like him. And if we do it again, it's going to be great. But you know what? I'm glad to share the ring with great fighters. And I'm glad to be here. I already did a lot in boxing. I already accomplished a lot in boxing. My legacy is already there. And I am still taking risks because I love boxing.
If you continue, do you feel like this is still the Canelo Alvarez that we've all known and loved for all these years? Or do you feel like something's changed? Are you still the fighter that you were?
No, I feel great. I feel strong. You know, Crawford is a great fighter, a skilled fighter. And I get the credit to Crawford, obviously. And I feel great.
As the undefeated legend didn't hesitate to remind the boxing world that he had already handed Canelo his first professional defeat years ago.
From the beginning, that if you go back, and I know it was a lot of years ago, I get it, but you have to have something to point at. If you go back to when he lost his first fight, of course, Canelo I'm talking about, to Mayweather, it wasn't just that his hands were too slow, his feet were too slow. And he's in there with a guy with quick feet and quicker hands. You know what? It doesn't matter how big he is. What did Ali say? Your hands cannot hit what your eyes cannot see. That was tonight. It was great.
Let's put some context on this.
It was great.
Let's put some context on this victory first. A year out of the ring. I think it was like 13 some odd months out of the ring, okay?
Yeah, really?
Yeah. 2 weight classes. Think about that.
Yep.
He had surgery early at the beginning of the year. Surgery, on shoulder surgery, right? Not sure which one. And to come in here and to put on that type of performance against Canelo that actually is coming off a performance, right? You expected Canelo to be sharp. He was sharp. However, what Crawford did was he took the air out of the ball.
Yep.
He used this. That's what boxing's about, people. It's about this. Strategy. That's what he had. He used his feet. He understood Canelo every single movement. That's why Canelo couldn't land any shots on him. He knew it was coming. He knew that the looping right hand was going to come from the southpaw position. So what did he do? Hold the phone. He knew that the hook to the body was going to come. What did he do? Block, and he shot up with counters.
One of his great assets that we don't hear about enough. One of those things that are not so easily as immeasurable on paper, but it's eyes, vision.
Focus.
Yeah, we know the physical ones we talk about and we understand so easily. Speed, power, quickness, legs, all that stuff. But eyes, radar. This guy.
And in his view, this latest setback only further confirmed what he had been saying all along.
Of his prime, how can you gauge it?
Doesn't matter. We saw a great fight tonight, did we not? That's all that matters. 2 guys risked it. And the better man won tonight. That was Crawford.
Terence got it right. Is there no need for a rematch, or do you want to see running back? Because it was pretty good, like you said.
No, it was pretty, it was really good, actually. Yeah. So it's up to the Jam. He's a Jam. He can do whatever he wants.
What do you think happens with Canelo next after this?
What happens to Canelo after this? It don't matter. He's made a big statement for not only Mexico or the pride of Mexico, but for all Latinos right there. So he's done a great job for himself, man. Nevertheless, Crawford is on his way, continuing to create greatness.
Mentally.
What's up?
You called it for Crawford earlier. What did you see to make you call it like that?
I know boxing. I just know stylistically. I've been in the gym with. I've shared the ring with Canelo, and then I see that. So
they were saying that if he beats Canelo, it could put him as even the greatest of all time. What does that put him in the all-time list, man?
At least top 10.
At least
top 10 or top 15, easily. There's guys that we may not know of or heard of, like Henry Armstrong. simultaneously, he was 3 divisions carrying all 3 weight divisions at the same time.
Which performance was better? I don't like to compare them, but Crawford or Mayweather's over Canelo. Like it's just different.
It's just different styles, different looks.
Yeah.
You know.
That styles make fights, and no fighter, no matter how dominant, is invincible.
In the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd, speaking with his usual calm but confident tone, acknowledged Crawford's brilliance, praising him as a complete fighter with unmatched patience.
Was going to create history. I told you guys this before he fought Sean Porter. I said that Terence "Bud" Crawford can beat first ballot Hall of Famer and superstar and legend Canelo Alvarez. I've been saying this for years, that Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez. And tonight, he did just that. He did just that. Not only did he beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, but he arguably retired Canelo Alvarez, who after the fight, Canelo Alvarez stated that he's done everything that he needed to do in the sport of boxing. When asked do he want a rematch with Terence "Bud" Crawford, Canelo Alvarez said, "It's no need." He gave no indications of a rematch. And Canelo Alvarez stated that he's a Hall of Famer, he's a winner, just being there made him a winner, right? And he stated that he's done everything he needed to do in the sport of boxing. That's what he said. Canelo Alvarez got schooled once again. I told you guys, styles make fights. This style, this particular style of boxers and counterpunchers and movers has historically given Canelo Alvarez problems. And as I told you guys, right? Terence Crawford can fight any which way he chooses to fight. He's just that much more versatile. And everybody didn't believe me. They said I was tripping. Canelo was too big. He gonna knock out Terence Crawford, right? He too big, too strong. Terence Crawford get hit. Terence Crawford don't box, don't move. And I told you guys, when Terence Crawford wants to move and wants to box, right, he can. And he would, right? And guess what? Terence Crawford, I told you guys, when he fought the likes of Victor Postol, right? Y'all said that, oh, he don't move that much. I said, did you look at his fight with Victor Postol? Did you look at his fight with Jose Benavidez? Yeah, well, those guys ain't Canelo Alvarez. And I told you guys, it doesn't matter if they're Canelo Alvarez. It's about Terence Crawford's abilities to be able to maneuver around and box in every which manner he so chooses. If he wants to incorporate that style that he boxes and moves, he could. And what did he do tonight? I said Terence Crawford could fight at every level. Didn't I tell you guys that? I said Terence Crawford can fight in mid-range. He could fight on the outside. He could fight on the inside. Canelo Alvarez cannot. Y'all asked me, why aren't you talking about what Canelo Alvarez could do great? And I told you, because we know what Canelo Alvarez is going to do. He's going to fight. He's consistent in who he is and how he fights, period.
Timing and adaptability, qualities that allowed him to not just survive against Canelo, but to dictate the fight and dismantle the Mexican superstar's game plan.
Seeing Terence Crawford create greatness and beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, what was your thoughts on that performance from Terence?
Terence Crawford is a great performance, man. He's been doing this throughout the course of his career. The stakes were a lot different in this fight, a lot more danger. he had to fight that kind of fight in order to beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, and he did that at 37, but getting ready to be 38 years old. And he proved, like Max said, that he is the GOAT of this generation. Hats off to Canelo for taking the fight. He didn't have to take it. Hats off to Turkey Al-Sheikh for putting it together. Just a great, great night for boxing.
Yeah. How special a fighter is someone like Terence Crawford? There was no signs of a size disadvantage there. How special?
You can see it in spots, but it wasn't significant. And I didn't think it was going to be significant. And people called me crazy, but I've been around Terence. He's strong. He's got a wrestling background, and people don't realize that he's been boiling himself down all these years and still being successful, not having to do that. His condition seemed impeccable, and his strength was there, the power was there enough to get respect from Canelo. So what more can I say?
What would you like to see him do next? Do you think there's another fight after this?
I'd like to see him be done. What are we boxing for at this point? What else is there to do? There's always going to be a YouTuber or a reporter or somebody conjuring up another challenge. We box to get ourselves in a better financial position, to build a name and a legacy. Those boxes are checked.
And Mayweather noted that he had seen this coming because Crawford had always been underestimated when compared to bigger names. Yet his resume, discipline, and ability to rise to the occasion proved that he belongs in the all-time great conversation.
What's up, bro? Yes, sir.
What do you think made the difference?
The speed, really.
Yeah.
I think it was the main factor. Canelo couldn't really keep up with him. He was too fast. His feet, footwork was too good.
Do you think the scores was right on, or do you think maybe it was a little more towards Bud?
What was the scorecards?
115, 113, 116, 112.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah?
I feel like Bud damn near basically won every round, so
yeah.
But yeah, that's about right. You can say that.
Now, with this accomplishment, Keyshawn, is he on the Mount Rushmore of
Hell
boxers?
Yeah. Yes. Fuck yeah.
Yeah?
3-time undisputed. He just beat Canelo.
Yeah.
The face of boxing. So now you can say Bud is the face of boxing.
Greatest of all time, or?
Greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it can never be one great, but he definitely one of the greatest of all time, for sure.
While showing respect to Canelo for taking the fight and pushing himself against another pound-for-pound elite.
Great fight. I was hoping that there was more action coming from Canelo. You know, I'm used to Canelo fighting that way all the time. You know, he tried his best. You know, he always has trouble against movers. I was really expecting them to be more punches, more movement by Canelo. What can you say?
This reminds me of the point that Jaya Patai made yesterday, and you picked up on it. He said he's coming in with all his belts. Terence looks like he's still hungry, and Canelo looks like he's whining and dining in his success. Do you think that might be the difference tonight?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it was a little bit of difference. You know, the cat has got really fat, so he tried his best. I've seen Canelo box about many times, and I thought that this time he just boxed like he always boxes. And then I felt he couldn't really do nothing against Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford was too quick, too elusive. You know, anybody would find trouble with him, but Canelo couldn't find him.
The scorecards were 2 red, 115, 113. Were they right with the cards?
You know, it was for Canelo to win a round. I say he won about 3 rounds in that fight. I was actually amazed at the way how Terence Crawford moved and, you know, never got hit and threw combinations, because that's what you're supposed to do, throw combinations. So he threw combinations. He wasn't trying to knock out Canelo, but he definitely was throwing a lot of punches, a lot of combinations.
Floyd also pointed out the flaws in Alvarez's approach, stating that Canelo has relied too heavily on power, pressure, and reputation to win fights.
Performance, exactly what I expected. All I want to see was Crew take the punch. If you take a punch, we knew what was going to happen to that.
Did you expect him to trade with Canelo like that on the inside?
Yes, we spoke on the airplane going to Dubai.
Yeah.
The only thing I told him was that you could not give Canelo the center of the ring. And earlier you gave it to him, but then you started outboxing him and outsmarting him with it, and he started taking it back at the right time. So he studied his film very well. He knew when to fight, when to move left, and when to move right. Very smart fight. He completely frustrated Canelo.
Did you score it right?
Huh?
Did you score it?
No, I didn't score it. But I think probably was something like 8-4.
8-4?
Yep.
What do you think should happen next, Roy?
I have no clue.
Crawford put himself amongst the all-time greats like yourself with that.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
5-weight world champion,
Yes.
3-weight undisputed champion.
Yes.
Where are you putting him in the all-time list?
But against someone as sharp and composed as Crawford, those tools were never going to be enough. And Floyd emphasized that Crawford reminded the world of what pure boxing IQ can achieve when matched against raw strength. The retired champion also took the opportunity to throw subtle shade at Canelo's fans and critics, who long dismissed the idea of anyone from the welterweight ranks being able to step up and conquer him, saying that greatness isn't about size or hype, but about skill, preparation, and execution under pressure, which Crawford delivered flawlessly. In his breakdown, Mayweather also highlighted how Crawford neutralized Canelo's body attack, one of his signature weapons, by using footwork, feints, and sharp counters that forced Alvarez to hesitate. And once Canelo slowed down, Crawford took over with cleaner combinations and ring control, and Floyd insisted that this was a masterclass that younger fighters need to study because it showed that defense, patience, and intelligence will always trump reckless aggression, no matter how powerful the opponent. At the same time, Floyd made it clear that this wasn't the end for Canelo, but rather a reality check, warning that once you reach the highest level, there is no room for complacency, and even a superstar must evolve or risk being exposed. And he suggested that Canelo must now make hard decisions about his future, whether to chase redemption, drop back in weight, or carefully select fights to preserve his legacy. Ultimately, Mayweather's first reaction blended both a sense of pride for Crawford, whom he acknowledged as carrying the torch for boxing's next era, and a reminder of his own greatness, subtly underlining that he set the standard for dominance and that nights like these only prove his boxing philosophy correct. And in closing, Floyd declared that fans should celebrate Crawford's win because it represents the pure essence of the sport, skill, intelligence, and heart prevailing on the biggest stage.